Hola mis estudiantes, hello my students. It has been a long time that I haven't seen you. And it has been a long time that I haven't been able to record some videos for you. I hope you miss me the same way I miss you all. In today's lesson, I will provide you with the 20 essential grammar you must want to know. Let's jump into the first rule. Rule number 1. Nouns and gender. Spanish is well known for having masculine and feminine gender in their grammar, meaning all the nouns can be feminine or masculine. And because we understand that nouns are the most important word in a sentence, the nouns is like the queen and the king of your sentence. It dictates what the article is going to be and the adjective is going to be. So they both need to agree with the noun. It's important to understand that if a word ends in an A, in general, 99% of those nouns are going to be feminine. So the article has to be feminine. But if it's singular, the article has to be singular as well. Example, casa, house. The article has to be la casa. Let's say, for instance, if we add an s to make that noun plural, because nouns that ends with a or o, in order to make them plural, you just add an s to the noun. But your article need to carry on that s as well. So let's do this together. Las casas. Now let's do the same thing with the masculine singular noun. For this one I choose perro, dog. El perro, the dog. And to make that noun plural, we just add an S in perros. It's going to be los perros. You get it? Now let's add an adjective for both. The first one was feminine singular. Let's do feminine singular, feminine plural, masculine singular, and masculine plural. Let's do it together. So instead of la casa, we add an S, las casas. And we are going to add an adjective, let's see, white. The white houses. The white houses. Las casas blancas. Perro, perros. Dog, dogs. Los perros negros. The black dogs. Did you notice that adjective in Spanish appears after the noun? In a simple sentence structure, the article is the first one, then followed by the noun, and then the adjective. So it's article, noun, and adjective. In English, it's a little bit different, right? We say it article first, adjective, and then the noun. So pay attention to that for instructor. Now let's move on with grammar number 2. For those nouns that do not end in O or A, most of those nouns we need to understand the gender. One example will be padre, is a father. So for that reason, it's going to be masculine, and the article is el padre. Madre is a mother. The article is going to be feminine. And you guessed it. You are right. La madre. El padre, la madre. Now, how do we make those nouns plural? Just adding the S to it. Let's do it together. Los padres, las madres. That's it. Formal versus informal. A formal communication in Spanish utilizes the form you. We have two ways to communicate with the you. The first one is tú. Tú is used when you communicate with your friends, and usted is used when communicating with adults, persons that you just met for the first time, or just with somebody that represents authority and respect. We are going to practice this communication because it's extremely important to understand that when we use verbs in Spanish. Here is one example. Hablar. ¿Hablas? ¿Hablas español? Do you speak Spanish? That is informal. I am asking my friend or the person that is my student. And versus, ¿habla usted español? Do you speak Spanish? That's the formal way. What is the difference? You notice the verb conjugation, hablas with the S, is informal. That's the to form. And habla without an S is the formal way, usted. Let's move on to grammar number 5. The present indicative mood in Spanish has the 3 categories of verb endings, AR, ER, and IR. For the purpose of this video, we are going to learn or review the AR, ER, and IR verbs ending present tense conjugation. Hablar ends with an AR, so it belongs to the category of the AR verbs. Comer ends with ER, belongs to the ER categories. And vivir belongs to the IR categories. I encourage you to take into account these endings every time that you see a verb. Every time that you find a verb or you need to conjugate a verb, it's very important that you pay attention to the ending of that verb, because knowing the ending, you will remember how to conjugate that verb for the particular pronoun. And we are going to start conjugating verbs right now as we move it into grammar number 6. Pronouns and verbs conjugation in the present indicative form. Okay, let's do it together. Hablar. Let's conjugate the verb hablar. To conjugate verbs in Spanish, for regular verbs, thinking regulars and irregulars. I always tell my students that the regular verb they are like kids, right? They are a family with a lot of kids, and there are some kids that love to follow rules. Those kids are the regular ones. We call regular verbs. Aside from those regular verbs, we have the irregular ones that you can learn those rules and you can learn those conjugation in one of my videos at Speaking Spanish with Lili. Check the video above. So for the conjugation of a regular verb, we look at the ending, we drop the AR, in this case is hablar, and we are going to introduce the personal pronouns to conjugate each of these verbs. So the first pronoun in Spanish, I, is yo. If I want to conjugate that verb for me, I will drop the AR and I will add the O. So the conjugation is hablo. Yo hablo. I speak. The AR and add AS for AR verbs. So it will be hablas. Tú hablas. So one more time. Yo hablo, I speak. Tú hablas, you speak. The H is silent in Spanish. Pronoun number 3 has 3 people on it. He, she, and you. El, with an accent mark. We talk about those accent marks later. They're extremely important in Spanish. So, él, ella, and usted. He, she, and you formal. Drop the AR and add A instead. So, habla. Él habla, he speaks. Ella habla, she speaks. Usted habla, you formal speak. So, let's move on with pronoun number 5. We, nosotros. Drop the AR and add amos. Nosotros hablamos. We speak. And pronoun number 6, because we are not using in this video the pronoun vosotros used in Spain only. I will teach you that later in another video. For now, let's stick with pronoun number 5 as the one used in Central America, South America, and other Spanish-speaking countries. That pronoun is they or you guys. But because Spanish has the gender, remember, masculine or feminine nouns, we have to be very careful if we use they for ellos and ellas, just girls. But ellos group can be also a group of 100 girls and 1 boy. And ustedes, you all. So ellos, ellas, and ustedes, which is they and you all. Drop the AR and add AN instead. So, hablan. Okay, entonces, let's continue it with the verbs conjugation for ER and IR. For the ER, such as comer, to eat, by the way, I'm hungry, tengo hambre, voy a comer. For comer, we drop the ending, which is ER, and we are going to add the corresponding ending for each pronoun. One more time, drop the ER. Yo, which is I, is como. So you are going to add an O. Yo o como. I eat. 2. Drop the ER, add ES instead. Comes. You eat. He, she, and you. Él, ella, and usted. Drop the ER and add E, because it's an ER verb. So, E in Spanish, okay? E, the E. So, come. Él come, ella come, usted come. He eats, she eats, you eat. And then we, nosotros, drop the ER and add hemos, because it's an ER verb. Comemos. Nosotros comemos. Then ellos, ellas, and ustedes, those 3 plural pronouns, are also under the same umbrella. Drop the ending and add en for comen. Ellos comen, they eat. Ellas comen, they girls eat. Ustedes, you all eat. For the plural form, there is no formal or informal. It's just one for both. So one more time, ER verbs conjugation. Yo como, tú comes. You say it and then listen to my pronunciation and corroborate if it's right. If it's wrong, just pause the video and do it again. Let's start from the beginning. Yo como. Tú, informal. Comes. Él come. Ella come. Usted. Correcto. Come. And nosotros comemos. Ellos, ellas, and ustedes comen. Muy bien. Very good. Now let's move on to the last category, which is IR verbs. The IR verbs are twins with the ER verbs in the present indicative mood, meaning they share exactly the same conjugation, aside from or with the section of the nosotros form, where with IR verbs takes an I again. So let's do this together. The example is vivir, to live. Okay, let's do it. Vivir, drop the ending, IR, yo, takes O, such as vivo. To, drop the ending, add the ES, because it shares the ending of her twin sister or brother. So ES, vives. El, drop the ending, add an E, vive. And ella at the ending, vive. And usted, vive. Nosotros, vivimos. Here is the I. Pay attention. And when you take notes, underline, highlight that I. It's a good idea every time that you see something different to highlight, to emphasize that for your brain to remember and recall easy. We move to essential rule number 7. One of my two favorite verbs in Spanish, to be. But in Spanish we have two, ser and estar. Those two brothers or sisters, however you want to call it, has two different missions in Spanish. Ser is more, let's put it permanent, it's more used for ID. Show me your ID. You use ser. Tell me who you are. You use ser. Tell me, describe yourself. You use ser. Tell me what your profession. Soy maestra. ¿Y tú? ¿Qué eres? You use ser. Nacionalidad. You use ser. ¿De dónde eres? Where are you from? Soy de Colombia. ¿Y tú? ¿De dónde eres? Practice. I also have a PDF form to practice those conjugations and to compare and contrast the uses of ser versus estar. They are free to download on my website at Speaking Spanish with Lili. Okay, so professions, nationalities, occupation, personality traits, identification, and time. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué horas son? Es la 1:25. At the time that I am recording this video, it's 1:25 in the afternoon of beautiful sunny California time. It's not that sunny today, it's actually very cloudy. Mucha lluvia, we had a lot of rain. We love the rain, but too much is mucho. Okay, now let's move to the sister, estar, the other to be. Estar is used to describe feelings. ¿Cómo estás? How are you today? Estoy bien. I am well. ¿Y tú? ¿Cómo estás? Estoy feliz. I am happy. Feliz because I'm recording this video for you, and I hope that you take into account and you take this opportunity to learn your verbs and practice them and to know how to master this 20 essential grammar to boost your Spanish to the next level. Estar is used with locations, to ask where things are located or to say where things are located. O mi teléfono está en la mesa. My phone is on the table. ¿Dónde está tu teléfono? Where is your phone? And also for feelings. Location of people and things and feelings. Okay? So, let's conjugate those two verbs. Yo soy, I am. Tú eres, you are. Él es, he is. Ella es, she is. Usted es, you are formal. Don't forget the formal versus informal too. Nosotros o nosotras, if I'm talking to another girl, somos. And ellos, they, are, son. Ellos son. Ellas, they girls, are. Ellas son. Ustedes, you all are. Ustedes son. So let's do that together. Yo soy. Tú eres. Él, ella es. Usted es. Nosotros somos. And ellos, ellas. And ustedes, you got this, son. S-O-N, son, like your son. The most important uses of estar are feelings, estoy feliz, estoy bien, y locations and people and things. Estoy en la clase de español. I am at the Spanish class. ¿Dónde estás? Where are you now? ¿Estás en casa? Are you at home? Okay, now this is amazing. You got the whole program. You are getting the 20 essential grammar concepts in one video, with practice, with repetition, with the free PDFs to download and use it. And now let's go to essential grammar number 8, tener. Very powerful verb because tener means to have, but tener is also used with expressions. So let's conjugate tener and learn some of those expressions used with tener. To have. So let's start with conjugating tener. It's an irregular verb, irregular in the job form. Tengo, I have. Tengo un teléfono, I have a phone. Tienes un teléfono, do you have a phone? Tengo, tienes, stem changer, the E changes to IE. We have a group of stem changers, grammar rule, that you can check on my YouTube channel, just stem changers such as tener, where I dedicated a video and stem changers E to I, O to U, and E to IE. Let's continue with conjugation tener. Tienes, tiene, he, she, and you, tiene. Nosotros tenemos. Goes back to normal. There is no the stem changer and there is no the irregularity. And ellos, ellas, and ustedes is tienen. So let's do that one more time. And I encourage you actually to write that verb. It's a very particular, complicated verb, but very useful. So we need to know those verbs. So let's do it together. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tienen. Now you say it. There are two main expressions with tener. The first one is tener plus que plus an infinitive verb. That means that you have to do something. Like you have to study, you have to practice the verbs. You have to practice this grammar so you can communicate in Spanish, so you can ace those tests if you are a student. Tienes que estudiar. Notice that the second verb, estudiar, is an infinitive verb. What is an infinitive verb? It's a verb that is not conjugated because the first one, tener, is the one that made the talk, and the second one is silent, ends with R. Tener plus que plus an infinitive verb to have to do something. Write some sentences, practice it. And the next expression with tener is tener plus ganas de, which means to feel like doing something. And tener plus ganas de plus an infinitive verb. Tengo ganas de comer. I am hungry, so I feel like eating. ¿Y tú? ¿De qué tienes ganas? We have verbs like gustar. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I like that verb. Gustar, to like. Who doesn't like to use gustar? To say that you like to eat, what you like to dress, what you like to talk, what you like to read, what friends do you like, right? To hang with. So gustar is a very important verb, but it's also a little bit picky because gustar say, hey, I don't care about the personal pronouns that you have been using with the other verbs, such as yo, tú, él, ella, usted, ellos, ustedes. Those are the personal pronouns, right? The pronouns that we conjugate all normal verbs that you have learned so far. Gustar uses instead the IOP pronouns, indirect oye pronouns. You can check the video and IOPs and DOPs on Speaking Spanish with Lili. You see how many videos I have for you? So what are you waiting for? Go and check them and practice. Gustar is used with an IOP pronoun, so if I say that I like something, I say I use the me instead of I. So, me gusta. Me gusta, I like, what I like is plural. I have to add an end on gustan. Me gustan los libros. Take a look. If the noun is plural, you just add an M, or in that case is me gustan, and you don't do anything else. Once you know that, you keep using the IOP pronouns to say what each person likes or dislikes. So the second pronoun IOP is te gusta, you like, or te gustan los libros if the noun is plural. Le gusta or le gustan for he, she, and you. He likes, she likes, you like. They like books. Nos gustan los libros, we like books. Or nos gusta el libro, or we like only one book. Nothing changes there. Unless, les, for them or you guys. Les gusta los libros, les gustan los libros. Got this? You can also practice that. You can also download the PDF file free on my website and practice verbs like gustar. Gustar plus a noun and gustar plus an infinitive verb, which is the second part of this grammar. Gustar is also used with another infinitive verb, a verb that is not conjugated, to say what you like or what you don't like doing. So, me gusta leer. I like to read. I like to read books. Me gusta leer libros en inglés. I like to read English books. Me gusta leer libros en español. I like to read Spanish books. Te gusta leer. Nothing changes. Le gusta leer. As you can see, the only thing that you will adapt is or switch is the IOP pronoun to say what every person likes doing. Le gusta leer, nos gusta leer, and les gusta leer. Me, te, le, nos, and les. Indirect oye pronouns plus gustar, plus gusta, plus an infinitive verb. And here we are moving into the category of the irregular verbs. Many regular verbs in Spanish are very important and frequently used, and they do not follow the same patterns as the regular verbs that we previously learned. They can change the root of the verb. They can change at the ending of the verb, or both. So the best way to study and remember these verbs is by regrouping them according to similar categories. And this is what I mean. Take a look at these groups. Let's start with the first group. And by the way, if you want to learn more about these irregular groups, check the video. The following group of verbs are verbs with the radical change only, meaning the job form is irregular and the rest are regular verbs, okay? So let's start by grouping them in this category, irregulars in the job form only. Some of the most important verbs are dar, doy, and the rest is normal. Doy, das, da, damos, da. The next one is estar, to be, estoy. And estás, está, estamos, and están. The next one is hacer, to do or to make. Goes to hago. Haces, hace, hacemos, hacen. Poner, to put or to set. Pongo, to know facts. I know how to do this. To know how to do things. Sé. S-E. And the rest is normal, regular conjugation. So, sé, yo sé, tú sabes, él sabe, ella sabe, usted sabe, nosotros sabemos, and ellos and ellas, and ustedes. Salir, to go out or to leave. Salgo. Sales, sale, salimos, sale. Notice that the other forms are regular. The yo form is irregular. Highlight the yo form and practice the yo form, as the yo form is the only one that is irregular. When you group these verbs, that's what I recommend. In the present tense, certain verbs have a spelling change. Verbs ending in ger. Change the G for J before the O ending. One of the examples is escoger, to choose. Escojo for the yo form. The category number 12, reflexive verbs. What is a reflexive verb? A reflexive verb is a verb whose action is done upon the speaker. Some verbs can be reflexively and not reflexively used. Let me give you one example. For instance, levantarse. Levantarse. Levantarse is to get up. Every time that we use this verb reflexively, we have to use the reflexive pronouns to indicate that I am the one who is getting up, or you are the one who is getting up, not somebody else. So for instance, we use reflexive pronouns with these verbs. So to conjugate a reflexive verb, we just simple use the reflexive pronoun and the present indicative form. So let's practice this one. Levantarse. Me levanto. I get up. Te levantas. You get up. Se levanta. He, she, and you formal gets up. Nos levantamos. We do it together to each other. Se levantan. They get up. Me, te, se, nos, and se. Those are the reflexive pronouns that are used with reflexive verb. A verb that is not reflexively are the other verbs that we have been studying so far with a non-reflexive verb is lavar. Lavar could be, lavar is to wash. You can wash your own hands, and that is a reflexive verb use. Me lavo mis manos, because I'm washing my own hands. But if I wash the hands of my baby, le lavo las manos a mi bebé, a mi hijo, my son, that verb is not reflexively used. You see it? Because the action goes back into another person. So I will say, yo lavo las manos a él. I wash his hands. Versus, me lavo mis manos, te lavas las manos, and so weiter and so forth. And here we go to the lucky 13. For the lucky 13 grammar is the family of the preterite, past tenses. For the purpose of this video, I'm going only to introduce you with the basis of the preterite tenses. You always look at the family ending. So for instance, a family ending is that an AR verb, such as hablar, or is an ER verb, such as comer, or it is an IR verb, such as vivir. Preterite tense expresses two main things. The first one is an action that is completed in the past. And the second one, action that is completed at the definite time in the past. The preterite verb is formed by dropping the ending of AR, ER, and IR verbs, infinitive, and add the corresponding endings. Notice that the first and the third form singular has an accent mark. Now, ER and IR have the same endings in the past. Your form is E with an accent mark, such as in this example, comer goes to comí, And tú, iste, comiste, he, she, and you, yo, comió, accent mark tú. So first and third form, accent mark. First and third form, singular. The rest doesn't have. Those are for the preterite regular verbs. And then nosotros, for ER and IR, is imos and ellos, ellas, and ustedes, which is they, and you all is yeron. So let's review them one more time. ER, hablar. Yo hablé. I spoke. Tú hablaste. Él habló. Ella habló. She spoke. Usted habló. Nosotros hablamos. We spoke. And ellos, ellas. And ustedes, they, and you all, hablaron. Now, comer and vivir, same endings. Viví, yo viví, tú viviste, él vivió, nosotros vivimos, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes vivieron. So viví, viviste, vivió, vivimos, vivieron. Learn those endings and you know to conjugate many regular verbs. Now we move to the second past tense in Spanish, which is the imperfect tense. The imperfect tense in Spanish has two main uses: to describe continued ongoing actions in the past, actions that were repeated or customary in the past. And that's the difference between those two past tenses. Now let's see how we conjugate imperfect tense, regular imperfect tense in Spanish. Again, let's go to the three families: AR, ER, and IR verbs. We drop the endings, we keep the infinitive, and we're going to add the corresponding endings. For AR, yo haba, tú habas, él, ella, and usted haba. Nosotros, the only one with the accent mark over the A, is habamos, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes is haban. So let's say that together with the same example. Hablar. Yo hablaba. I used to talk. Tú hablabas. Él hablaba. Ella hablaba. Usted hablaba. Same baba. And nosotros hablábamos. And ellos, ellas, and ustedes hablaban. Now let's move to ER and IR verbs. They share the same endings again. And the endings, they all have accent marks. Please, please, please highlight those accent marks. It's smart, so you can remember. So, remember them. So, comer and vivir. Ia, yo form. Tú, ías. Él, ella, and usted. Ia. Nosotros íamos, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes ian. Those are the endings for ER and IR imperfect regular verbs. At the spot number 15, we have the twin, the brother and the sister, pretérito and imperfect. These both tenses have nothing in common. The only thing that they have is that they are both talking about the past. The difference are that the pretérito is precise and specific, versus the imperfect is most used for narration, description, and to talk about your childhood, for instance. And now we are in the world of prepositions. For spot number 16, the preposition and Spanish prepositions are very important because they are also used to be connectors. Taking preposition as connector in a noun, a pronoun, or a word to other phrase or words. Just going to give you here a couple ones. The preposition a, which means to or at. Voy a la tienda. I'm going to the store. They connect verbs to. The other important preposition is in, on or into. Estoy en la tienda. I am at the store. Preposition that I would like you to pay attention to is de. De means of or from. Soy de Colombia. Now we move to the IOPs and the DOPs for spot number 17. These are pronouns, indirect oye pronoun. The indirect oye pronouns are the receivers of the action of the verb. The DOP pronouns are the what or the whom in reference to the verb. So let's put them together and understand its uses. And again, if you want more explanatory about indirect and direct oye pronouns, I encourage you to check my video on this particular grammar, indirect and direct pronouns. So for now, I just want to tell you that the IOPs are me, te, le, nos, and les. Me, te, le, nos, les. Me for me, te for you, le, him, her, or you formal. Nos, us, and them is les. Me, te, le, nos, les. DOP pronouns are me, te, lo, la, nos, los, and las. There you have them. And how we use them in a sentence, a very briefly explanatory sentence will be on the example below. Let's see, for instance, if I say, I buy a gift for you. So the receiver is you, right? You receive the gift. The IOP pronoun is te, and that goes first. It's placed before the conjugated verb. Te compro, compro is I buy un regalo. I buy you a gift. The gift is going to be replaced for the DOP. You guess it. So the DOP in that case, because it's masculine singular, is going to be replaced for the DOP pronoun lo. Lo for el regalo, right? So el goes first and lo goes next. Le lo compré. Or le lo compro if I say I buy you a gift. Le lo compro. Have another rule. There is the le lo rule. Every time that you have an IOP and a DOP together in the same sentence, the IOP and switch it for the se. So the right sentence will be se lo compro. I buy it for you. 18. We are almost done. Future and conditional. You take a time to pause the video, to analyze, to repeat after me, to download the PDF on my website at Speaking Spanish with Lili, and to further your information, understanding about each grammar, to check each particular grammar on my YouTube channel at Speaking Spanish with Lili. And here we go for future and conditional tenses. The future and conditional tenses in the indicative mood. The future tense uses will and the conditional uses would. Re, ras, ra, haremos, and harán. Notice the accent mark and practice writing them down. The example with hablar, hablaré, hablarás, hablará. Hablaremos, no accent mark, and hablarán. Now let's do the same thing, the future tense for comer and vivir. They share the same ending, so let's do them together. Comeré, comerás, comerá, comeremos, comerán. I hope that by now you notice one important thing, and that is that all three endings are the same. They are, whether it's an AR, ER, or an IR, they share the same endings in Spanish. So take notes on that. And now let's move on with the conditional, is would. All three share the same endings, like the future tense. The endings are ría, rías, ría, ríamos, and harían. Comería, comerías, vivirías, viviría, comeríamos, and vivirían. There you have it. Practice then. So I encourage you that before you learn the subjunctive mood, to master the indicative mood, which are the verbs that we have been conjugating so far. And there are a lot of practice on my YouTube channel. The subjunctive mood is used for opinions, hopes, expectations, and uncertainty. The indicative mood is certainty. And we are going to write some example sentences. The subjunctive mood will need a condition in order for the action to happen. In most cases es importante que estudies para entender. It is important that you study in order to understand the subjunctive and the indicative mood. Part number 20, we have Spanish sentence structure. And we need to understand that the difference between a phrase and a sentence. A phrase consists of more than one word and does not have a subject or requires a predicate. A phrase could be hola, buenos días, good afternoon, buenas tardes, hasta luego. That's a phrase. A sentence requires a subject and a predicate. For this particular example, we are going to use declarative sentences. A declarative sentence makes a statement, and statements provide information. The example is, in this example, we have el profesor enseña en la clase. The teacher teaches in class. For more practice, I encourage you to use the same format, but with the present tense, past tense, future, conditional, to practice your sentences formation. And I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you find it useful. If you do so, share a thumbnail and to join me to the next video at Speaking Spanish with Lili. Remember to download all the PDF available for you at my website at Speaking Spanish with Lili. I encourage you to pause the video, to rewind the video, to repeat after me, to practice, and I will see you la semana próxima. Hasta luego. See you soon. Hasta la vista.